mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
I'm on the mic with Mike. He's like a guru.
No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports the nonprofits. Watch his show and grow.
Mike King says.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
There's a business show in RVA. On the mic with Mike in RVA.
On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond, the best business radio program around. It is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. Why are we the best? Because we got the best guests. We got the best friends of the program. We meet friends through other friends. So with us today, we got a game changer out there who's going to give us information. So we got Dr. Heather Williamson. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you very much for having me, Mike.
All righty. So we met through our girl, Joe Chickowitz, and with a shout out for her with A Night for Scott, very successful. And you bid on a time to be on the mic with Mike. Okay. You were thoroughly impressed with the professionalism of the program, but you didn't know what you were getting.
No, I did not know I was getting.
This is an experience right here. This is not a regular radio program. So really quickly, let's get the elevator pitch, who you are, what you do, and then we're going to talk about some of the things because you do some important things. Okay, so we got to get the credentials out of the way first. Whenever people come here, I'm like, you got the credentials, you paid for them.
Yes.
So let people know who you are.
So my name is Dr. Heather Williamson. I have a PhD in social psychology with really a focus in leadership from Virginia Commonwealth University. And my company is the Transformation Group. And basically, simply, I work with those in leadership roles, whether business owners or in corporate America, to help them overcome performance challenges that will help them be more effective in getting employees to do their job more effectively, and also lower levels of stress and give them more free time to really focus on things that are important to the business, like developing strategy. And I've been fortunate enough to have companies increase their revenue by 20 to 30%. So that's
all
been
right,
great.
Doc. So in reality, back in the day, we used to think that touchy-feely stuff was just touchy-feely and good. There is a bottom line figure that can be attached to it. So there is some good to do that from a fiscal business standpoint.
Yes, I totally.
All righty. So we talked to people. You said around 2019, you were going to kill it. Everything was great. You know, you're going to knock it out the park. And then Rona showed up.
Yes.
How did that change your business model from then of something that you thought you didn't do to now you're saying that thing worked?
Well, yeah, totally. The sky fell because I had a lot of things set up. I was speaking at the Virginia State SHRM annual conference. That obviously went out the window. And really, I had to change what I was doing. So I created over a year ago a YouTube channel. And it's just Dr. Heather Williamson. And I really focus on providing leadership tips and strategies for those in leadership roles with employees. And this has been real successful. I posted actually on LinkedIn yesterday, it was, that I've had over 9,000 views. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'm continue to grow. One of my videos went viral, so that was fantastic.
What was that on?
It was on COVID. Okay. And the OSHA rulings and, what business owners needed to consider.
It's funny. So I work with an accountant, and he got on TikTok, and he had said one of his videos went viral. I'm like, what was it on? He said mileage. That's not mileage. It's not exactly the sexiest topic. So you went viral with OSHA information.
Yes.
Okay, we're in a different time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not exactly what I was thinking.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So no, but it was great because it's obviously created a lot more views. And, I'm like today, I'm going to be posting a video on the pros and cons for those companies that are still thinking about going, giving their employees the option of working hybrid or working remote, which we were talking about earlier. We had
that conversation because a lot of times if we can't lay eyes on people, we can't. Let's talk about culture. And I always talk about culture. So it's Mike. Dr. Williamson is here with us. Really quickly, how can people find you out there?
So you can find me on my website, which is transformationgroupllc.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. Just look up Dr. Heather Williamson. And YouTube, Dr. Heather Williamson.
They're blowing up on YouTube. That's what she's out there doing. But she's a friend of the program, so she's going to be back here with us talking strategies and help us get through a different time right now because businesses have changed. We talked about helping business leaders. People are promoted. So Jimmy got promoted, and now Jimmy was really good at being a salesman.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, Jimmy's a sales manager. Maybe not the same skill set.
No, because what motivated him may not motivate his people.
Right, because Jimmy was driven by the dollars.
Yes, exactly.
Now, there's other people who part of the group. They may have more of a holistic, save the world mentality, and all they need is enough to change the world. But Jimmy was out to get the money.
Yes.
How does Jimmy talk to Mike?
So what Mike needs to understand from obviously sales need to happen, right? But from a sales manager perspective, he or she really needs to understand his or her team. And if they're motivated by, helping others, then what the product that you sell or the service that you're selling, how does that help that person? And it's interesting because I'm working with a client right now who is she's a partner in an organization, but it's interesting because they were trying to motivate her by money. She didn't care one lick about money.
So for folks who are driven by money, the idea that everyone's not driven by money is a shocking concept.
It is.
I mean, it's almost radical.
Yes.
But everyone's not.
Yes.
Everyone is not. And my wife is one of those ones who's not, and I've learned over the years that because every salesperson isn't driven by money either. Mm-hmm. So when you look at businesses now, you contact the management or leadership contacts you. Can you determine culture top down always, or sometimes can the leadership and culture be driven ground up?
Well, typically it's top down, but because obviously people who are running an organization have an idea of what they want, how they want their people to act and behave, and the vibe that I call it a vibe, but the vibe that they want their organization to kind of represent. And it really does need to come from the top down. Now, I will say that there are people in management and leadership roles who can kind of create their own little culture with their own team. And I think when that happens, maybe the organization is a little bit more not as open, let's say, to new ideas. Maybe they are a little bit more micromanaging than you are. But if you've got a boss that is really great at empowering their people, delegating, really giving them the authority, not standing over their shoulder, and you're giving them the opportunity to learn and grow, but maybe that's not represented in the rest of the company, you can kind of create your own team. And I honestly think that this will spread because people will see the outcomes that leader is getting, and they're going to go, hey, what's Susie doing that, I could be doing better? And so I think it can transform the organization, but it's a lot slower.
Okay. So on the mic, Mike, I'm going to talk about mature people like me, old people. Does sometimes the age of a leader determine how flexible they are with certain things? Do you see that? Like younger people are more flexible than older leadership, or it doesn't matter? People come all across the board. I think they come all across the board just because I've worked with all different age groups and people have all been different. It's kind of, how a lot of it's how they're raised, are they raised with an opportunity to be able to experience new things and not be so set in their ways. But I will say this, there are tons of assessments, and I do assessment work as well with organizations to really get a better understanding of who that individual is. And if you are,
a rules follower, perfectionist by nature, then you're going to be not as open to new ideas. So, it comes back to these behavioral tendencies.
So most people who are not professionals, they're rolling with the big credentials behind their name. They know something like Myers-Briggs, right, or they know DISC, or something like that. How important how important are those these days now when everyone's working remote? Like, how do you forge culture and communication now when I'm here, Sue is in Tennessee, this guy's in California, person's around the world? How do we do that?
So first, you have to know your people and know what their expectations are, and you have to communicate what your expectations are. So if you got somebody who is, let's say, an extrovert by nature, they love being around other people, then you have to create those opportunities where they can express themselves. So maybe have like a Friday. Some people, I know they were doing this in the beginning, but like a happy hour, let's say from 4 to 5, where there's no talking business. It's really, hey, let's get to know each other a little better. There's also the opportunity, have more sessions as a team so they can get that interaction with other people. Not just, when you're working remotely, I swear it's kind of the impetus where I get involved in what I'm doing that I kind of forget about, oh, it's already 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock and I haven't touched base with a team member yet. And I think you really have to be conscious about making sure that you are touching base with your people the way they needed to be, touched with regard to, checking in.
On the mic with Mike, Dr. Williamson is here with us. We're talking the processes of onboarding people. Now, before it was a big day, your first day you come, that awkward moment when you show up, hey, I'm Mike, today's my first day. Then you go through that awkward period, they walk you around. And okay, what's that look like these days?
Yeah, well, if you're working in an office, nothing's really changed much.
Okay, but nobody is. So now we have to do it virtually. How do I show up the first day?
If it's virtual, there's a lot more thought that goes into that process.
I can imagine.
Yes.
You didn't like it the first day because you didn't know where the bathroom was. Now all of a sudden, I show up and I'm in a little box along with everybody else.
Right. So I think that obviously the first day you need to be in touch with your boss. Your boss needs to welcome you to the team. You should have a team meeting where you get to meet everybody else and, and share, what each person's role is. And so they can actually tie a name with that person and what they do. So if you have questions, I think it's really, really important also to have somebody on the team mentor that person. So they're not feeling like they're alone and, not wanting to bother the boss all the time, but have somebody mentor them for at least a couple of weeks so they can get a grasp on what they're going to be responsible for, what the culture is with regard to, how we work, all those specifics of, do I have flexibility to work when I want to work and still get the job done? Or are you requiring me to sit at my desk, from 8 to 5, from 9 to 5, whatever. So I think it's really important to set those expectations up and have continual meetups, touch base with that person as well.
All right, on the mic with Mike, we got the doc here rolling with this ESPN Richmond. That's where we are. We're going to go away and take a break for a moment. We'll be back on the other side with the best business radio program around. We're going to talk to her about the commitment to the community and also how she sees the Richmond business ecosystem. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Tom Childry, the credit
theater company. You're listening to On the Mic with Mike. Cheers.
Hi, this is Sylvia Farbstein, and I am on the air with Mike King. He is widening the lens of humanity, and I'm so happy to be a part of his journey.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
Mike King is ESPN Richmond, the champ of Business Talk Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. I'd like to thank you for joining us today with this. We got a doctor in the house. Dr. Williamson is here. She is out there supporting community organizations. Shout out to our good friend, Jill Chickowitz at the Night for Scott. Jill is just a powerhouse. I mean,
she is. She's amazing.
I don't know how she does it. This lady showed up out of the clear blue one time. Next thing I know, I'm rocking with her. I'm all over the place. But I even went to jail with her. So, shout out to, I know that was a crazy one. Shout out to her and the program out there out at the Chesterfield County Jail regarding, the substance abuse.
Sheriff Leonard's. Yeah.
Sheriff Leonard is out there really doing some really cool things. So shout out to him. All righty. So let's talk about your commitment to the community. Where does that come from?
So, that actually really comes from my dad, who has always been very involved in the community. I mean, he started up the Kiwanis Club in Chester. He has served on the YMCA board in Chester, and he's still practicing dentistry in Chester. And watching him growing up, watching him do this, it kind of eventually instilled in me.
People showed up and he helped them out.
Yes, he's always been about that. And I work with Jill, and I help her when I can at her events, and also very involved with Executive Women International, which is a nonprofit that Richmond has a chapter here.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
See, what you can't do, you cannot come here and drop a name and then we don't hear anything. But so now the mission for today is you got to introduce them to us and let people know, because clearly cool people know cool people. And that's what it comes down to. So if they're doing something that you find interesting, and there's seem like bazillion nonprofits out there, we want to show them some love, and that way they can help get their message out.
Right. So yeah, this organization it's great. You normally with networking, it's usually the individual like you or me joining a group, right? This is the companies.
Oh, so
it's companies like, my company, I'm involved in it. Altria is a member firm, and Greater Richmond Partnership, Richmond Region Tourism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Universal Leaf, Better Business Bureau, I think they're still a member, but I know Barry Moore is now the CEO.
Shout out to Barry Moore back again.
I know. I'm so excited. But it's a great organization because we're really about connections. We also focus on the communities, but really with literacy. And it's really taking a picture here.
There you go, right in. Keep talking.
So it's a great organization, and yes, it says Executive Women International, but we have had men in the past. But it's the firm that. So if you're interested in it, you can contact me via my website or my email, drheather@transformationgroupllc.com, and I'll be glad to share information.
Okay, so when business shows up on Dr. Heather's front doorstep, what's something that you see now kind of like on a regular that people need? It doesn't matter industry, whatever. What's happening out in the streets these days?
On the streets these days, I mean, people are, getting back to work. Although honestly, the people that I work with, and even the ones that I'm affiliated with, Executive Women International, they're still working remotely. And so it's still, being productive, figuring out what's got to get done during the day, but it's working from your home. But people are getting back on the street, which is nice. Networking groups are up and going again to some degree. And I'm excited about that because I think people need to be around people, and whatever level you want to do that, I think it's important. People need people.
Alrighty. And how can people find you out there once again?
Oh, you can find me on my website, which is transformationgroupllc.com, or LinkedIn, Dr. Heather Williamson, or YouTube, the same.
What does a program with Dr. Heather look like for my business? So all of a sudden we sign on, we say we're going to do this. What's the program look like?
I'm very much into customization. So whatever the need is, I mean, obviously there's some probably basic skill sets like learning how to communicate effectively, learning how to delegate and truly empower, not just delegate and load off the stuff you don't want to do, but really delegate things that are really going to help that person grow, and both personally and professionally. And time management is huge. So it's really focused on customizing to what that person needs, but it's typically 6 month to a year engagement because behavior doesn't change overnight.
No, it does not. Okay. When we talk about behavior changing, incremental behavior or do it sledgehammer style? I
like, it depends how big the pain is. It depends on the pain level.
So we're uncovering the pain level. A person shows up, big time pain. We got to do something sledgehammer style.
Yes.
Big.
Yes. We will talk about what is it that they were doing that's not effective and create strategies that will be a lot more effective and get the results that they want.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. We bring the subject matter experts in. Anyone who looks at me knows how I roll. Yes, I do look like a subject matter expert. No, I don't. No, I'm not. But what I do is I know them. So we got the doctor in the house. She's going to be back with us. You're going to hear her. She's going to give us some factoids to keep you straight out there. But if you guys need something from a leadership management perspective, make sure you contact her one last time.
Dr. Heather Williamson at transformationgroupllc.com is my email, and my website is transformationgroupllc.com.
On the Mike with Mike, the best business radio program around. ESPN Richmond, 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 106.1. That's ESPN 105.3, which is the Choice. Sorry. ESPN. We got to go. We'll take it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. We got to go. Take care. Bye.